Do you see pigment? No. So is there going to be a splitting of the wave? No. No pigment, no split. You got it. All right, let's talk about this one. Oh boy. So what happens with something that's black? The wave comes down, all absorb. So Brittany says all absorb. So here's the question. Does the wave split? Type yes or no in the chat box. Does the wave split with a black object? Shannon says no. Catherine says yes. Okay, you guys ready? Remember, in order, if it splits, I see color. If it doesn't split, I don't see color. Guess what it does? It absorbs all of them. So if I absorb all of them, did the wave split? No, no splitting. It all came down together and went in the object together. No split. White, there's no split. It all came down and it bounced right back off. White has no pigment, and black has a pigment that absorbs all of them at the same time. Does that make sense to everybody? All right, are you ready for the next one? Because this is the one that we use a lot in the hair world. We're going to kind of get to a point of like, why are we even talking about this? What about gray? What happens with gray? Does the wave split? Give me a yes or no in the chat box. So I got yeses, I got no's. All right. So let me show you what happens with gray. Here's a cup. And here's a cup. This cup is going to be black. All right. So black, I'm going to do this really fast for time's sake. All of these are pigments. Because remember, pigments are what absorb the light, yes? So this white light comes down onto a black object and all of it gets absorbed, doesn't it? Yeah, so it doesn't split. So there's so many pigments and it absorbs so much light, it looks really deep and dark, called black. No split. What happens with gray? All right, this one is gray. These pigments are the same pigments as the black. Brittany, yes. Okay, so here's the deal. Same pigments. Remember, different pigments absorb different things. Because these pigments are the same ones as black, are they going to absorb all the light? Will they absorb all the light if they're the same pigments as this one right here? Yes, they will. They will. But what's the difference between these? Brittany said it earlier. Concentration is a lot less, isn't it? It's a different level. This is a deeper level. This is a lighter level. So here's what happens. The white light comes down and these will absorb all the pigments, right? So the rest of them, there's not a ton of pigment. So the rest of it, some will get all absorbed and then the others will bounce off just like white light. So we have some, what do you know about gray? It's a lighter version of what? Black. The only difference between black and gray is it's the same pigment. It will absorb the light the same way. There's just a lot less of it. Gray is just a lighter version of black. Black doesn't split, white doesn't split, and gray doesn't split, meaning we don't see a color, a warm or cool color, do we? Is everybody with me on that? Yeah, let me show you. So someone said it's the center of the color wheel. Brittany, beautiful. Let me show you guys this. Thank you, Alicia. Beautiful. What Alicia just did for you guys is she split my screen between me and the demo screen. This right here, hopefully everybody can see a screen that has lots of little objects on it. We're going to go back and forth between me and the demo screen. So if you cannot see the demo screen, give us a shout out. So what I'm showing you here, do you see black? You can't see it. So Brittany, you might have to change your view. Like if you're in gallery view, you might have to go to speaker view or vice versa. Does that make sense, Emily? Okay. Let me know when you got it. Okay, perfect. All right, so here we have black. Black, I want you to think of black as level 1. It's got the most concentration of pigment, right? And then we have white at the very top. White has no pigment, 0. And we know what happens when there's no pigment. The light bounces off and doesn't split, it stays white. Anywhere in between is just a lighter version of black, meaning the pigments get less and less and less. But it's all the same. No splitting of the wheel when it comes to black, no splitting here and no splitting here. Is everybody with me? Thumbs up if you're with me. Y in the chat box if you get that. Yes. Cool. Yes. All right, so here's the thing. Gray, black, white, because there's no split, no color, they're called achromatic. Achromatic means no color, not a warm color, not cool color, nothing. Okay, so I'm gonna write achromatic. Another word for achromatic. Does anyone know another word for achromatic, no color? It's one of the words we use all the time when we're behind the chair. Neutral, yes. Brittany says neutral. When you create something that's neutral, you are subtracting all the waves. You're taking away a color. So now, is neutral reflective or is neutral flat? Tell me in the chat box. Neutral, is it reflective or flat? Neutral, flat. Yes. So achromatic, meaning, oops, chromatic. I can't spell and talk at the same time. Is anybody else like that? Achromatic equals no split, no color. Also known as neutral. So someone said it earlier, neutral is at the center of the color wheel. We'll get to that in a little bit. I love it. Good. All right, what questions do we have so far? Are we good? Alicia, I can't see if there's any hand raised for questions or not. So
not at this time, but you guys feel free.
Yeah, feel free, because I want to make sure you capture. Color is energy. What did you say about making something neutral? Beautiful. So here's the thing. When I see orange in the hair, who likes orange in the hair? Not if it's not on purpose, right? Okay. So orange means that the orange light is just reflecting. So here's what we do. In order to fix that, we don't want to see orange. We add pigment. What do we add? What color do we add? Brittany says blue. So everybody in agreement, we add blue, right? Well, guess what blue does? Blue is subtracting, it's pulling in the orange color. Neutralizing, meaning it takes away any light reflection. When we neutralize, we're taking away anything that's reflecting. Good? So as colorists, we're dealing with light reflection. We add pigment to see a color we want. Here's how we do it. There's gold in the hair. I don't want gold. I want to see copper. So I'm going to add a pigment to her hair that's then going to reflect copper. We call it copper. If I want to reflect copper, I put copper in it. It's going to reflect copper. Or if I have